Hello everybody, Assassinator back with another Xbox catch-up video. Now I'm going to get right into it because there's quite a bit going on, especially because of the showcase that went on today. And the showcase that I'm talking about is the Xbox Partner Preview Showcase, which happened today, October 25th. Now they had about 30 minutes of trailers and gameplay footage for about 11 games. So the first one will be Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. So they end up showing off Dondoku Island content. So it looks like crazy fun to me. Overall, to me, kind of seems like Animal Crossing as a mini game where you have to manage your own island, you have to attract and make visitors happy, you have to gather resources and make your own resort. So if you're into that Animal Crossing type minigame stuff, then you'll be able to start playing that on January 26th, which will be day one into Game Pass. Then the next game will be Ekuro Will Not Die. It is made by the creators of Power Wash Simulator, and it is a third-person action roguelike with fast-flowing combat. Now it's a game that looks interesting, so I'll keep my eye out for it. Then the next is Still Wakes the Deep, which is basically like a walking simulator. Now from the trailer, it looks like you're stuck on an oil rig in the middle of the ocean in the 1970s, during a bad storm. Now it didn't show any combat, so I don't know if this is just going to be a storytelling type game, but it does have an eerie atmosphere and sound. Again, this will be day one in the Game Pass, so I'm thinking I'm going to give it a try. Then there's RoboCop Rogue City, which is releasing very soon on November 2nd. It did get a new gameplay trailer, and to me, each time I see it, it looks a little better than the last time. I still don't know if I'm actually going to get it, but I'll continue to watch out for it to see if it's going to be a future pickup. Then there's Dungeons of Hitterberg, which is another day one Game Pass game. It is an action RPG with cel-shaded graphics. Now overall, I don't think that it's my style of game. It still looks like a good addition to Game Pass when it does actually release. Then there was Spirit of the North 2. Now I know a bit about the first game, I don't know anything about the second game other than what they showed in the trailer, which doesn't really tell you very much about the game. But the first game was a single player adventure game where you play as a fox. So that game released back in 2019 and it was highly reviewed. I mean, you basically got the story told through the environment and atmosphere. So I'm assuming that's what's going to take place in this one, along with a bird companion. I don't know if you're going to play as the bird or what the bird has to do with the game overall, but overall the bird looks to be there to help you. Then the next game is, overall to me, a AAA game. It is Metal Gear Solid Alpha Snake Eater, which is basically the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. So they did give us the very first in-game footage, which looked like some gameplay, but I can't 100% say that this is gameplay, but we do know that it was in-game footage. And the engine that they're using is the Unreal Engine 5, which we know is capable of high fidelity graphics. Then there's a game called The Finals, which is getting its own beta starting tomorrow, October 26th, which is going to be cross-platform. It is a first-person shooter and it looks objective-based, and you basically play in a team. I don't know if it's a team of 4 or a team of 5. I couldn't tell by the gameplay footage, but obviously we'll be able to check that out tomorrow in the beta. Now the cool thing about this game is that the battlegrounds look fully destructible and it is a free to play game. Now I know that there's a lot of these out there and I usually give every single one of them a try to see if there's anything special that really grabs me. I haven't found one yet, but we'll see if this one happens to be it because I will be checking out the beta starting tomorrow. The next up is Manor Lords, which is a day one Game Pass release game when it comes to console in 2024. Now overall it is a historical city building game, which is sort of like City Skylines but in the past, where you have to manage your resources, look after your people in your village, and expand by conquering other lands. So again, if you're into that style of either Sims or City Skylines, then this game might be for you. Then we got Ark Survival Ascended, which is developed on the Unreal Engine 5 for the Xbox Series X and S consoles. Now this is basically a reimagining of 2015's game. This is not the sequel that has Vin Diesel on here. I don't even know what happened to that sequel game. I think maybe they scrapped that one because overall the graphics on this one look to be great versus what we kind of seen from that Vin Diesel game. But this should be releasing in November for the Xbox Series S and X. So if you're into the original, you might want to give this one a try because again, it's a reimagining, so they're going to be changing up things in it. Then the last but not least will be Alan Wake 2. They basically showed off their launch trailer, which has me wanting this game. I was kind of on the fence about it. I was kind of telling myself, you know what, I'm going to hold off on it. I have too many other games to play. But actually seeing that footage actually has me wanting to buy it day one. Now I just got to decide, am I going to be buying it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Now we'll have 3 difficulty settings as you can see on screen, so depending on if you want to actually relax and play it, or if you're one of those people who like the intense, gameplay, you can kind of choose what setting you want. So it makes it very accessible to most players. Now this is a psychological thriller that is releasing on October 27th. So that was all 11 games showed during the showcase. Now we're moving on to some other news, which is that Forza Motorsport's got an update. It's considered the 1.1 update, which basically offers general stability across all platforms. The update will also fix the infinite load screen issue, which happens when you're saving a quick upgrade in the Builders Cup intro series. So that's all been fixed, along with several major and minor bug fixes. Now speaking of Forza Motorsports, we got some numbers, and it looks to be off to an amazing start. It already has over 300% more players day one than any other game in the franchise, and that's based off the images you can see on screen that True Achievements provided, which makes this the most popular Forza Motorsport game, at least for the launch period. And part of that increase is because it looks like in Europe it's very popular. So we'll have to see if this game actually has long legs or if it was free in Game Pass, so a lot of people checked it out day one. As for me, I'm still working on my 1000G for that game. I want to say I have over 30 hours into it, and I'm probably going to take about another 30 hours to actually complete it. Next up is that Microsoft is all in on gaming. I think we knew that, but according to the CEO, he said that they are doubling down on gaming. So anyone thinking that the Xbox Series was the last generation must be living underneath a rock. I mean, basically Microsoft just spent $69 billion purchasing ABK. That's not a move that a company makes if they're looking to get out of that type of business. So to me, this confirmation wasn't needed, but it's also always good to hear, as it gives more confidence in the Xbox brand. Now with some Xbox positivity, we got the Xbox gaming results for Microsoft fiscal year 2024 quarter one. So gaming revenue has grown by 9%, and Xbox content and service revenue grew by 13%, mostly driven by first-party content growth and Game Pass, which saw a big jump because of Starfield. Now on the downside is that the Xbox hardware revenue has declined by 7%. But overall, Microsoft had a record-breaking gaming revenue of $3.9 billion, which is up over $309 million from last year. And of course, with Microsoft buying ABK, that number's only going to increase next year, especially with the sales numbers for Call of Duty. So overall, I look at all that info as a positive. Now Phil Spencer has been busy over the last week. I did post in my last video that he visited King. Now he visited Blizzard. And everyone overall looked happy. I mean, even Phil seemed to be playful, as you can see in the pictures on screen. So hopefully over the next few months, we'll see what ABK is bringing to the Xbox players. Next up, we got the release date for a Star Wars game. And I'm not talking about a Star Wars Jedi game. Yes, Part 3 we're hoping comes out soon, but we're probably looking at a couple years for that. The game that I'm talking about is Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster, which got a release date of February 28, 2024. It will support 4K up to 120 frames per second with advanced 3D rendering, achievements, and more. Now I never played that game, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to give it a try as soon as it does release. Now last but not least is that Outer Worlds by Obsidian Entertainment has sold over 5 million copies. Now Obsidian Entertainment, they were the ones who developed Fallout New Vegas, so overall they have some experience with the WRPG genre, and it looks like that kind of passed on to Outer Worlds. They didn't have as much of a budget back then, but we did get word that they are working on a part 2 with Microsoft's budget. So I think that 5 million copies sold will end up getting passed up by part 2. And that's even if it's not available on other platforms other than PC. So that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you found it informative. Hit that like button, but until next time, Assassinator out.